All right. So we should be live on YouTube, Rumble, and Odyssey. Hope everybody's having a great night. What are we going to talk about tonight? Well, we've got a bunch of stuff. So first off, we'll just go through what we're going to talk about first. Oh, it looks like we got hot retarded chicks in the chat already. All right. Good to see you. Now, there's something about hot retarded chicks, which I've always said that's the best name on the internet. I just think that that's a beautifully juvenile name. That's kind of perfect in its own way. I've always been a big fan, but there's something that's bothering me. There's something that's bothering me about that name. Because hot retarded chicks, HRC. HRC? What are those initials? Hillary Rodham Clinton. I'm on to you, Hillary. Now, I do want to say, first off, that I have absolutely no information that would lead to the arrest of Hillary Rodham Clinton. None whatsoever. Okay? And I'm also feeling very healthy. I'm in great shape psychologically. I'm very happy. I think people have even commented, boy, you seem happy these days, Richie Baloney. And I say, yes, I am. I don't have any worries about anything. I just try not to mention Hillary Rodham Clinton because, you know. So I don't know. That's just something I'm throwing out there for hot retarded chicks. HRC. So I don't know. I mean, if you want to offer any comments on that, you're welcome to. I'm looking at the comments, so put in your 2 cents. I'm just saying it's a little bit scary is all. I really hope there's nothing to it. Okay, I got sidetracked there for a second. What are we going to talk about? Okay, so we've got Intersex Awareness Day, apparently a big deal for the Biden administration, so we'll get into that. Buffy St. Marie, big in CanCon, Canadian content, which is forced on the Canadian people by the government, by the CRTC, because they say that we need more Canadian content because we're getting colonized, apparently, by American content or from wherever, maybe Swedish content too, I don't know. But they demand that we pay attention. Wait a second. Hot retarded chicks are saying, I deny nothing. Now I really am getting scared. Okay, but anyway, Buffy St. Marie. Buffy St. Marie is, she does like folk singing. She's been doing it since the 60s. And, she's a well-known Canadian musician. It's never really been a part of my life, listening to Buffy St. Marie. I think I might have, it comes on and then I change it quickly because it's just not really my thing. But she is also, she's been a darling because she's claimed to have been a First Nations person, having first Indigenous ancestry, and the CBC has done an expose on this. Now, I don't know because they're saying that she's not. I don't know why they don't do this sort of thing with Trudeau. Well, I do know, and you know as well why they don't. But anyway, we're going to talk about that. Not for too long. Man dragged out of Hillary Clinton event after asking about Bill's trips to Epstein Island. Yeah, I bet she doesn't like that. We're going to talk about that too. Here's one, which is like, look, I'm not delusional, but from the post-millennial here, Trump gains ground on Biden in New York, as border crisis deepens. Biden holds 46% per the poll to Trump's 37% in a head-to-head matchup. Now, again, I'm not delusional. Trump's not going to win New York, but this does say something generally, though, about the dissatisfaction with Biden. And maybe people starting to reassess their ideas about the wall and, illegal immigration, all of that. All right, so we'll talk about that. It looks like we got some people in Rumble, watching on Rumble. Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a great night. What do we got next? You know what? I've had a super busy week, and I'm a bit fried. So if I sound a bit slow or confused at any point during this live stream, it's because I am. So, we'll just have to deal with it. Seattle homeless offender released from custody after allegedly chasing man with axe. Released from custody pretty quickly. Seems like the sort of thing you'd want to do if you want everybody to be terrified. So we'll talk about that. Maybe this is a little bit dry. We won't spend too much time on this. Ottawa exempting home heating oil from carbon tax for 3 years, Trudeau says. Well, thanks for putting a pause on the thing that you forced on everybody. All right. What do we got next? Okay. So I wanted to do something that's just kind of silly. And we're going to talk about this. We're going to go through 13 reasons you need to stop taking so many selfies. This is from Bold or Bold Day. It's like an online women's magazine, which is surprisingly based sometimes. I've noticed that. I used to do videos on their articles. I wouldn't say all the time. I did, probably half a dozen or so. When they did something that was like advice for women that was actually kind of based, not totally crazy, which is what we normally get, or they normally get. And then we are going to go through a bunch of Twitter stuff. I've got this clip from this new South Park, which looks awesome. We'll go through this. I just did a video on this tonight. It's about an NDP candidate. NDP is basically the Communist Party of Canada. There's this woman who wanted to be a candidate for MP for them. And they told her that they were in fact looking for a non-white lesbian. I mean, if you're wanting to be a part of like the race Marxist party of Canada, you should probably expect this. I did a video on this earlier tonight, which people seem to be enjoying. So we're just going to go through a bunch of stuff I put together. And if at any point things get too heavy, we're going to have a palate cleanser and go to the puppies. I think this is going to be a thing that we do on this channel. I don't think we need to do it tonight because we're not talking about Israel tonight. We're not talking about any of that stuff. We're not talking about anything that's like really horrible. Pardon me. We're not talking about anything that's really horrible. So we probably won't need the puppies as the palate cleanser. But maybe. I don't know. We don't know how these things go. It's hard to predict. So let's start out with the first thing on the agenda. Biden's State Department torched online over Intersex Awareness Day post. The State Department said it was affirming a commitment to promoting and protecting the human rights of intersex persons globally. So the Biden department is very concerned about this because there's nothing else to worry about, I guess. Intersex Awareness Day. I guess everybody gets a day now. I don't get a day. And I guess I get my birthday, but I don't give a shit about that. Intersex Awareness Day. Now, has anybody even asked the intersex people about this? Maybe they just want to kind of slide under the radar, you know? I don't know. I might want to. Has anybody asked them if they wanted this day? Maybe they just, want to be left alone. Because it's kind of weird, too. Like, are you aware that I have a misshapen penis and a misshapen vagina? Well, now you're aware. I don't know. Let's take a look at this. It's just like the government, the State Department tweeting about this. It just doesn't seem like it really should rise to this issue rises to that level of importance. When there is other things happening, right? We all know that. Intersex. President Biden's Department of State was torched online over its statement on Intersex Awareness Day amid the war in Israel and a manhunt for a deadly shooting suspect in Maine. Yeah, those are things that, probably deserve some attention, right? I would think. Over, Intersex Day. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller released a statement Thursday saying the department was affirming the United States' commitment to promoting and protecting the human rights of intersex persons globally. Is it really a problem? I don't know. I haven't heard. Have you heard any complaints? Hey, I'm intersex and people are abusing my human rights. I'm not really hearing this. I mean, maybe it happens, I guess. I mean, there's some nasty people out there, but I think it's a very, very tiny percentage of the population, right? It's a genetic disorder that's extremely rare, I believe. Quote, as President Biden stated in his 2021 memorandum on advancing the human rights of LGBTQI plus persons around the world, it is the policy of the United States to pursue an end to violence and discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression, and sex characteristics. Okay, well, thank God. I've never actually seen any evidence. For instance, they keep saying that there's a transgender genocide happening, right? And when I've actually looked up the statistics, it's from what I've seen from looking at government statistics, it actually says the opposite. It's a lower percentage per capita than just the general population. If you're talking about murder. Of course, I don't want anybody to be injured, but they keep saying it, but it's not true, and there doesn't seem to be any evidence to prove what they're saying is true, but it is useful politically, so of course they're going to just keep saying it. Because, yeah, I guess that's what you do. I guess that's what you do when you're trying to manipulate people's emotions, trying to shame people into supporting things that they really don't have any interest in. Let's keep going. Blah, blah, blah. We applaud all activists, organizations, and governments working to raise visibility and to protect intersex persons' right to bodily integrity and to ensure equal protection of course, they keep saying this stuff, but is any of it true? Is any of it true? I mean, ensure equal protection and recognition before the law. Well, but is that actually a problem? I mean, there doesn't ever seem to be the slightest bit of interest from journalists on that issue. Tom Cotton says that Team Biden far more focused on gender politics than advancing America's security. Well, I don't know if that's entirely true, but it should just be an embarrassment, shouldn't it? That they're putting out official statements on this? I mean, it's just silly. Steve Guest said, would it be too much to ask for our government to go back to focusing on killing terrorists and freeing American hostages? Yeah, I mean, it's not the only thing they're doing, being worried about Intersex Awareness Day. I would just say that they shouldn't be doing that at all, because any amount of energy they're wasting on that is probably too much. The thing about stuff like this, the far left loves the intersex issue because they try and trick people into thinking that it proves that there's more than two genders. There's more than just men and women. And intersex doesn't actually do that. It's just a genetic disorder. But they want to use, but as I say, they want to use that to pretend that it opens the door to all of the infinite genders that they claim there are. All right. And the problem is with this is that intersex is actually a real thing. It's an actual genetic disorder. It's a real thing. Omnigender or frog gender or deer gender are not. Those are figments of people's imaginations. Those are abstract ideas that don't actually mean anything. They're not real. But that's why they have the fascination with the intersex thing. They think it's like this opens the door to and proves, or at least is useful in tricking people into believing they're insane, pseudoscientific gender voodoo. Gender for the modern left, far left, is basically the progressive soul, right? It's this abstract thing it's an abstract idea that they're pretending is real. And yeah, that's dumb. So let's move on to the next thing. Who is the real Buffy St. Marie? If you'd asked me this question 30 years ago, I would have said, who gives a shit? And if you ask me that question today, I still don't give a shit. But I think it's interesting in that you see there is some value. Now, if you grew up on a reserve in poor reserve in northern Alberta, there's not really a benefit to you there, right? I know it's not the same conditions everywhere, but there are some places that are very tough, and that's not a benefit to you at that point. But if you are, mingling with the elites, or you're in academia or some sort of artistic endeavor, music, clearly there's a benefit, right? Or politics. Clearly there's a benefit for somebody to just swoop in and just claim identity, because the modern left and academia and everything, Hollywood, it's all extremely identitarian. Identity is the most important thing. So you can swoop in and you can use it. And the CBC is claiming this is what happened with Buffy St. Marie, who's started like in the 60s. She's been famous, at least in Canada, for decades. Not my cup of tea, but I don't have anything against her. Just not my thing. Now they're claiming that she is, in fact, Italian. Can you imagine that? Italian. What a horror. Um, Buffy St. Marie claims to indigenous ancestry are being contradicted by members of the iconic singer-songwriter's own family and an extensive CBC investigation. And I have to say, why doesn't the CBC do extensive investigations of Trudeau? God knows there's enough there. We know why they don't, because he's their paymaster. He showers them with money. You know, you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you, but also to everybody working at the CBC, apparently, is a liberal, would vote for Trudeau. I mean, you'd have to think it would be intolerable to work there if you weren't. Just because, everybody would hate you. So they're not doing that, but instead they're satisfying our need for hard-hitting journalism with an expose on Buffy St. Marie. She's 82, by the way. So, I almost feel like there should be just like a, what do you call it? Just a line where you say at a certain age, just whatever you did. If you're 100, statute of limitations, whatever you did. The guy that Trudeau had in in Parliament, the Waffen SS guy. Yeah, that's not a very good move. I think he's like 100. Maybe at a certain point, like if somebody reaches 100, or maybe even like into their 80s, you just kind of say, whatever. Maybe with Buffy St. Marie, we should just go, she's 82. Whatever. People thought that they were cultural for a while. Just let them have it, There's a certain point where, what is even the point in, like, revenge? Is it revenge? Should we get revenge on Buffy St. Marie? And I'm not like some big Buffy St. Marie fan. I don't care. I've never cared. I don't know if it's that essential to out her, but I don't know. It does. I do think that it's pretty sleazy to steal, to lie to everybody, which is what, if the CBC is correct, is what she's been doing, right? And to claim something that, is not rightfully hers. Namely, opportunity say. Why, when Buffy St. Marie strolled onto Sesame Street in 1975, she was making history. The December 9th episode was the launch of the program's efforts to present indigenous culture to millions of viewers. St. Marie opened her backpack and showed off an array of indigenous jewelry and beadwork to an eager group of children and adults. Everybody got a bit confused when she made spaghetti, though. She made ravioli. "This is Cree Indian," St. Marie said, holding out a pair of beaded moccasins. "Cree Indians are my tribe, and we live in Canada." Well, apparently not. She lied to those children. One little boy piped up, "My sister read me a story about Indians. Was it a real story about Indians, or was it a fairy tale?" She asked, I guess kind of ironically in retrospect, noting that some are just pretend and some are real. "I'm real," she said with a grin. It must be weird to live a lie like that. To be constantly lying, looking at these kids. You think if you're looking at the kids, you're kind of like, what have I come to? Lying to children on Sesame Street, lying to Big Bird. From the early days of her career, St. Marie has claimed to be a Cree woman, born in Canada. She has also allowed herself to be celebrated as an Indigenous icon and success story. We've seen a lot of stories like this. There was Rachel Dolezal, obviously. The Sean King, also known as Talcum X, he's not fooling anybody. You know, I did a couple of videos. There were a couple of professors in the States. It was a year or two ago, and they were both pretending to be black, and they weren't. They were Jewish women, I believe. One of them was a Jewish woman in New York, and yeah, she went full out too. Like she was wearing like zebra print dresses. Seriously, she was wearing like zebra print dresses. Incredible. I mean, that's nervy to do that. Because you're not just faking it. Now it's almost like you're taking the piss, right? Zebra print. Man, oh man. So we see this, and it's because there is something in it, right? You know, you've got like a professor. They're going to have a good career probably, right? But maybe it's competitive, and maybe they just need that little bit of an extra edge. They're not doing it for no reason, right? They're not giving up all of that precious white privilege for no reason. Right? It almost makes you wonder if there's another kind of privilege. I'm not talking about in every occupation, everywhere in life. I'm talking about in academia. College, I think there is some privilege there. And it's not the white kind, right? I think in Hollywood, I think in arts, anything that's left-wing dominated, right? The people that do this are clearly doing it for a reason. And it's not to hurt themselves. And it's to further their own careers. If you told me Italian, I wouldn't argue with you. Yeah, I could see it absolutely Italian. Where do we get to the juicy part here? Birth certificate comes to light. Uh-oh. The record said that Beverly Jean Santa Maria, Buffy St. Marie, who started going by the name Buffy St. Marie early in her music career, was born in 1941 in Stoneham, Massachusetts, not even Canadian, north of Boston, to Albert and Winifred Santa Maria. The couple, St. Marie, claimed adopted her, so she lied about her parents. She was not adopted. She was raised by her Italian parents. And, oh, hold on a second. We got on YouTube, Charlotte, good morning. Hey, you must be across the pond, I'm guessing, if it's morning for you. It's late here. Not too late yet, but we'll have to see how late we go. Anyway, good morning to you as well. So, yeah, she's lying about everything. She's lying about literally everything. Mother, father, and baby were all listed as white. Yeah, she got a scam. She knew that there was an advantage in pretending, and she took advantage of it. And you'd have to expect people to do that. Of course they're going to do that, you know? I mean, people of, low moral quality will do that. Now, I will say that since this is the CBC, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt because I have no reason to believe on face value literally anything I see from the CBC News, right? And I also don't care. Which is also a problem. But I'm going to say statute of limitations. She's 82. Who gives a shit? Let her be Cree, whatever. She can do whatever she wants. Even if she's Italian, if she were like, 45, I give her more of a dressing down at that point, but she's old and I also don't care. Let's move along. Man dragged out of Hillary Clinton event after asking about Bill's trips to Epstein Islands. Epstein Island. Well, I'd like to know about those too. A lot of people would. I wonder why nobody ever finds out anything about Epstein Island and who went there. Why is that, I wonder? Seems odd, doesn't it? It's kind of a big story. Involves lots of famous people. I mean, normally the press would be digging nonstop. They'd be honey badgers. Nothing could prevent them from getting this information. I mean, does anybody believe there haven't been any leaks? Like nothing's been leaked to any journalists? It's almost like maybe everybody's terrified of reporting on it. I wonder. Now, if I was this guy who just got dragged out of the Hillary Clinton event, I'd be a little bit worried, right? Because she's not going to like that. Now, has anybody seen this guy since? You know, did he shoot himself in the back of the head 10 times? Has he done that yet? I don't know. He said, "Hey, Hillary, why did your husband visit Epstein Island 26 times? Well, we all know. We all know why he did that, obviously, right? Because he's horrible. Charlotte says, I am indeed lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for being in the chat. Former Democrat, U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was in for a rude awakening on Friday when her speech was interrupted by an individual demanding answers into the Clinton family's relationship with deceased pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Hillary Clinton was campaigning in Houston, Texas for Democrat mayoral candidate Sheila Jackson Lee when independent journalist Alex Rosen interrupted her speech, which left both Clinton and attendees stunned. Why would they be stunned, right? Like, it's kind of a question that's out there. I guess because in that crowd, they're all people that would love Hillary, and they wouldn't expect that anybody who wouldn't love Hillary would be allowed in. Quote, "Hey, Hillary, why did your husband visit Epstein Island 26 times? Rosen shouted to Clinton as he rose up from his seat. Clinton, not answering the question, prompted Rosen to repeat it. The video shows the crowd with shocked faces. Many attendees got up from their seats and began chanting Sheila in order to drown Rosen out. Rosen attempted to get closer to the stage, but was prevented by security. Video shows Rosen on the ground with multiple security guards dragging him out of the event by the back of his shirt. I think we've got some video. Let's take a look.
Then you want somebody who's going to get up every day.
Hey, Hillary, why'd your husband visit Epstein Island 26 times?
Is this really necessary, guys? Is this really necessary? Is this really necessary, sir? Hey, is this necessary, officer? You guys are dragging a grown man out. Is this necessary? Seriously, come on. Hey, is this necessary, guys? Don't hit me, man. You guys are dragging somebody out.
Yeah, the aristocrats do not like being asked questions, do they? They do not like it at all. I think it's a valid question, however, is it not? I'd like to know the answer to the question. Now, the people that are all chanting, trying to drown him out with Sheila, Sheila, maybe they're worried that, the Clintons have there's rumors, right? Maybe everyone's just thinking, shit, we better do something or we're all going to get fucking, you know what? It's a weird thing to to not have any curiosity about that whatsoever, to just be, unconditionally supportive of this kind of horrible person. But let's move on. Trump gains ground on Biden in New York as border crisis deepens. So, as I said at the beginning of this, I'm not delusional. I know that Trump is not going to win New York, all right? But it does say something about dissatisfaction with Biden, and maybe some people, maybe, independents are starting to, are definitely have buyer's remorse, and are starting to reconsider some issues like, like the border, for instance. I mean, New York has been flooded with immigrants. I mean, they were fine with it as long as it was, in Florida or Texas or Arizona, New Mexico, right? Once it actually started to really touch them, that's when they freaked out. I guess it's just, this is the definition of NIMBYism, right? Not in my backyard. President Joe Biden holds just a 9-point lead over former President Donald Trump in the deeply Democratic New York state. Biden won the state by 23 points in 2020. How did he win by 23 points? I know he did, but the man can't talk or walk. It just seems weird and surreal to me. But his unpopular open border measures, which have seen some 7 million illegal immigrants enter the U.S., are tanking popularity among die-hard blue New Yorkers. Well, everybody has their limit, right? Everybody's got their limit. I mean, platitudes are all great, right? Until it's real, until the consequences are real and you actually feel them. And now they're starting to actually feel them, right? It says New York has seen 10,000 illegal immigrants flood into the city each month. Mayor Eric Adams has said it would destroy the city, and a recent proposal is to give out tents to illegal immigrants and let them create tent cities and parks. This is fucking crazy. I mean, this is fucking crazy. Okay. Tent cities and parks. I mean, for somebody who's living there and paying taxes, and this is the plan, this is what your leadership has brought you. Oh, we'll do tent cities and parks full of illegal immigrants who haven't been vetted. Everybody's okay with that, right? Weird. This is highly unpopular as city dwellers make great use of the parks for fresh air, recreation, and a needed respite from the hustle of New York's thoroughfares and grinding lifestyle. Now, New York was a troubled place before the masses of immigrants moving in there. So, yeah, I guess people are starting to realize that perhaps they've been making some poor choices at the ballot box. In September, Biden led Trump by 21 points per a Siena College survey. By now, a new poll from Siena shows that the Republican frontrunner has made substantial gains on his incumbent opponent. Biden holds 46% per the poll to Trump's 37% in a head-to-head matchup per the New York Post. So again, Trump ain't going to win New York. That ain't going to happen, right? The Trump derangement there is as strong as anywhere else. California, San Francisco, none of these places are going to elect Trump. But if you see the lead widening to that level, that's really telling. That's extreme. That's actually remarkable. That tells you things are going very, very wrong, right? Now, I mean, think about like a state like New York. It's been so, what did they call it? Fortified, right? I think the elections have been, was it Time Magazine that put out the article about the fortification of the 2020 election? how they fortified it. Yeah, there are places that are very fortified where it really, well, it would make it very difficult to win in certain places, regardless of what people wanted, right? But this is interesting. And yeah, it's something to watch. I mean, the election is still a long way away, and it does not seem like the powers that be and deep state powers are very interested in Trump actually running for president. I know Tucker had some ideas on what they might be willing to do and how far they might be willing to go. I'm not going to argue with them. Scary time for the United States, 100%. Seattle homeless offender released from custody after allegedly chasing man with an axe. Huh. So they seem like maybe the people that you should, let out last kind of thing. He allegedly chased a man with an axe through a park while yelling, "I'm going to fucking kill you." I would take that man at his word. Is that him there? He looks like somebody who might want to kill you with an axe. A prolific offender in Seattle who is charged with starting a giant drug encampment fire in August has been released from custody again. Paris Alcantara was released for sentence served, according to the Washington State Automated Victim Information and Notification Service, following his most recent arrest in September after he allegedly chased a man with an axe through a park while yelling, "I'm going to fucking kill you." Sounds like a troubled individual. So he was arrested in September for chasing a man with an axe through a park and saying he's going to kill him. That was in September. And now it's October. It's the end of October. I guess he's probably got everything worked out by now. I mean, I'm sure that the social workers have been all over this. I mean, there's nothing that stops a man with an axe better than a social worker anyway. We all know that, right? Seattle used to be nice, too. I remember visiting there, I don't know, 15 years ago. And, yeah, beautiful, beautiful city. 20 years ago, beautiful city. Very safe, really nice. Apparently not so much anymore, to the point where people say don't go there because they fucked it up. Ottawa exempting home heating oil from carbon tax for 3 years, Trudeau says. Well, thanks, Trudeau, but you're the one who put on the tax in the first place. So I guess, and it's heating oil. See, here, let me show you something. Hold on. This is October 22nd, polling in Canada. Popular vote projection, 40% for the Conservatives, 28% for the Liberal Party. There's 338 seats in Parliament in Canada. You need 170 for a majority. Right now, if the election were right now, Conservatives would have 205. It would be a blowout majority government. Liberals at 81, which would be absolutely disastrous for them. Which I don't think they can turn that around before the next election anyway. And people keep speculating because of the disastrous polling. And it's clear that Canadians all the sane Canadians have had enough of this awful psychopath, Justin Trudeau. But he's not going to step down because he's a psychopath and he has no shame, and nothing's going to stop him from attempting to hold on to the reins of power. So he's doing little things like this, exempting home heating oil from his own carbon tax for 3 years. Now, not that many Canadians actually use home heating oil. It's actually a big thing in Atlantic Canada, where he's had, what they call the red wall there. So he's seeing decay in his support there. So he's thinking that this will help him with it. It's a little bit of tinkering. He can't see the writings on the wall. He's done. His brand is over in Canada. We don't want the princeling anymore. Now, on the carbon tax, to give Trudeau some credit, at least, he did actually run on that in 2015. He said he was going to bring in a carbon tax. And there were enough Canadians that were stupid enough to vote for him anyway. There's not that many Canadians that are not regretful, that don't have buyer's remorse, because, well, as everybody in the world now knows, he's awful. Just awful. All right. I wanted to do this one just because it's just not politics. It's just something stupid. Let's just do something stupid. 13 reasons you need to stop taking so many selfies. This is from Bold or Bolday. It's a women's online magazine. And they have things sometimes that are surprisingly based. That's not just lies. Constant lies. So let's take a look. Why you need to stop taking so many constantly selfies. I see people constantly taking selfies. I don't think I've taken a photo of myself in like 18 years. Don't care. I hear that photos also steal a part of your soul as well. So, there's that. Which also explains why Hollywood is so terrible. No one cares. That's the number one reason to stop taking selfies. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. You may be beautiful, but there's literally no one in the world who needs to see pictures of your face from 12 different angles. No one. Popping a picture on your socials when you get a new haircut or buy an amazing new coat you're in love with, blah, blah, blah. They're just saying stop. Nobody gives a shit. Now, I think that's pretty based, right? Personally, I think selfies are for births and funerals only. That's it. Should never, ever take a picture of yourself otherwise. I mean, maybe that sounds a little serious, but that's what I'm going with. That's my credo. No one cares. Let's see, 2. You will lose followers unless you're taking selfies and constantly changing locations. In an elevator 1 minute and next to a tiger the next, your face is not enough to keep people interested. Here's the thing, followers. I find this weird that people have followers just because they take pictures of themselves. Kind of a weird thing, right? I mean, you could be, there's a ton of just like hot women, right? That all they do is take pictures of themselves, and then they'll like do sponsorships where they'll like hold something in a picture, and they get 1 million followers, but there's nothing to them. It's just utterly shallow. They don't have any talents. They just have like a bunch of cosmetic surgery. I find it a weird thing. It doesn't speak very well about our society, because it could be, somebody with the personality of Jeffrey Dahmer, but a great ass, right? Doesn't matter. The filters are a lie. You may have figured out that your skin looks flawless every time, but you can't filter yourself in IRL, in real life. Using filters is the equivalent of magazines photoshopping pictures until they don't even look human anymore. Well, that's true. Eventually, you just have to be in the real world, right? And you can't trick people in real life, IRL, The only genuine, in real life filter is booze. And believe you me, it works. Sadly, it works very well. Maybe we should stop talking about that. You did not #wake up like that. So I guess that's the thing where the people take pictures of themselves in the morning and pretend like they just woke up. But, well, let's read this. The jig is up. You may not actually claim that in words, But if you're posting selfies from bed and claiming that you literally just cracked your eyes open in a full face of makeup and your hair perfectly coiffed, you're lying. Well, actually, I did wake up in a fetal position this morning in a pool of my own urine. So, anyway, let's move on. The number of likes you get should not be directly correlated to your self-worth. Maybe just do something of actual value, and then like a person in real life can like give you like a real life like, you know, like saying thanks or something. Like a genuine compliment that actually means something. You're missing out on worthy photo ops because you're too busy striking your best pose. I don't want photographs of every second of my day. Why do people want that? Stop taking so many fucking photos. You know what? I've seen sunsets. They're fine. They're fine. That's it. They're fine. I've seen a lot of them, okay? They're okay. You know, just enjoy it yourself, I guess. And are you really even enjoying it if you're taking pictures of it? I don't know. It's stupid. They make you seem, now this is constant selfies, right? They make you seem self-absorbed. You mean a person documenting every minute of their life can make them seem self-absorbed? Who ever heard of such a thing? What else we got here? Yeah. We all know you took 20 awful ones before the one you posted. You weren't fooling anyone. You know, this reminds me of internet dating. I haven't done like internet dating in like 20 years or something, or 15 years or something like that. A long time. And there was one thing that you have to learn about internet dating is that if the profile only has a headshot or headshots, there's a reason for that. Okay? There's a reason, because there's something happening underneath the headshot that they don't want you to see. So, and I don't want to be mean, say mean things, obviously. But I will say, unless you want to take the risk of having dinner with a manatee and a Christmas sweater, stay away from the ones that only have headshots. And I'd say don't ask me how I know that, but you know how I know that. All right. Let's get to the Twitter. Yeah, so here's a clip. I guess South Park has a new show out. A special, or maybe it's a new episode. It's special or something. I don't know. Clip from South Park blaming Kathleen Kennedy for why Disney movies all suck now. And yeah, I mean, this is, well, let's just take a look. I'll just play it for you.
Years ago, Bob Iger
Hold
took us
on.
to the Disney archives and showed us.
So, I don't know how they do it, but they nail it pretty much every time, don't they? Yeah. Like, how long have they been around for? Like 25 years or something? Forever. And they keep getting it, you know, and the multiverse there. And I mean, they're kind of uniquely talented. They're brilliant. And that, I haven't watched the whole thing. I'll watch it as soon as I have an opportunity to, but I've got a feeling I'm going to enjoy it a lot. Okay. This was the subject of my video from earlier tonight, from my regular video. It's 5 minutes long or something. And worth another look here from Jonathan K. This is pretty wild. According to this woman, she was encouraged to become a candidate for Ontario NDP, but then got bounced because the local board was looking for a non-white lesbian. That's right. NDP is the furthest left, even woker than Justin Trudeau's Liberals, the furthest left party in Canada, and obviously they're going to run this whole identitarian thing into the ground. Let's watch here.
So I've never actually told this story publicly, and I'm going to be a little bit vague on it because I don't want to get sued. But I ran for the federal NDP, and I had a super positive experience. Like, it was really good. I made lots of groundwork, all that stuff. So when the provincial NDP asked me to run, I was like, absolutely no brainer. I'm in. My experience running provincially was so bad. Ultimately, I didn't run. And my last meeting with the board that represented my riding on behalf of like the provincial NDP was them telling me that I wasn't a good candidate because I didn't check enough diversity boxes, and they were looking for somebody who was like a lesbian woman of color to represent this rural, predominantly white, religious, conservative community. And I was like, that's tokenizing. That's a really shitty thing to do, and you're putting that person in a really precarious situation, and I'm not down. And we parted ways. So, yeah.
So, what I find amazing about this is that if you have anything to do with the NDP at all, you have to be aware of how woke they are. Like, she said that she had a good experience with the national NDP. But to have a good experience with them, you have to be woke. You have to agree with all the stuff they agree with. And perhaps, she didn't get, the sharp end of the diversity ideology there, but she knew that is what it is, right? Like, it shouldn't have been a surprise when it came for her. And she says tokenism was tokenism. Well, but that's what they call equity. They're not for equality, right? If the NDP preached equality, right, well, then she'd have a point, but they don't. They preach equity. This is equity. I mean, she had to have been aware of what the people that she was around believe. She surely believes the same things herself. I find it fascinating the way that how people are willing to blind themselves to reality, to fit in, I guess. Anyway, pretty dumb, right? I saw this. Does this look familiar? Does that look familiar to you? That looks exactly like somebody that I've seen in memes and on the internet. This person. Do you think that's the same person? I kind of feel like it might be. Here. Let's go back. Hold on. Right there. And then here. I feel like that is the exact same person.
Hi, besties. Hi, besties. Hi, besties. Hi, besties.
Now, at the risk of sounding unkind, but this person has been, I don't know what it is exactly. Some sort of social media influencer, I think. I've just seen a bunch of clips of this person, and it's always pretty weird. I don't know what fame is anymore, but it seems like everybody knows this face. And yeah, I mean, it's not of any great import. I just thought, I saw that and I thought, yeah, I think so. How about this? 50-year-old man who identifies as a girl. It's a 50-year-old man who identifies as a girl, not a woman, a girl, competes in swimming competition against 13-year-old girls. Nothing creepy there. Melody Weishart, which I'm sure is not a real name, 50, who identifies as a girl, was about to use the girls' locker rooms to change and swam against. A girl was able to use the girls' locker rooms to change. Pardon me, and swam against 9, 13, and 14-year-old girls during the competition. Let's take a look. So, are we at the limits of tolerance yet? Like, I don't feel like it makes someone a bigot if they say to a 50-year-old man who's claiming to be a girl that no, you can't. Like, I'm not going to. I'm not going to call somebody a bigot for telling a 50-year-old man who's claiming to be a girl that they can't go in a change room with and swim in a swim race with 13 and 14-year-old girls. I feel like this is just obvious, right? It seems to me, I mean, come on, Jesus Christ. Look at 13-year-old girls. What? Like, we shouldn't need to justify that. It's just clear. It should just be, it's just, you know what? It's a no-brainer. No, you can't go in the change room. No, you can't be in their race. No, just no. What are our reasons? No, because no. You want us to call you Melody Weishart? No. Why? Because no. Just no. Forever no. No until the end of time. Infinity, no. Constant no's until the heat death of the universe. No, 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 no. If you come back at the end of history and ask if you can do that, it's still no. And I hope that's final enough. Joel Berry says, let's expand this. He says, they don't hate colonization, they hate the West. They don't hate oppression, they hate the West. They don't hate racism, they hate the West. They hate the West, and they will happily employ colonization, oppression, and racism to overthrow it. Yes, because if you haven't figured it out yet, this modern left, which is not, your grandfather's liberalism. This is not the left of that old, hippie burnout art teacher from the 80s. This is something else. I mean, you might pick up on that when you see them immediately going out and celebrating terrorist slaughters, for instance, like on October 7th. Before Israel had even had any retribution from that. And look, I don't have a Middle East peace plan or anything like that, all right? I'm just saying that's fucking disturbing when people immediately run out and celebrate that shit because it's horrible. That is something that should concern us in our own countries, because if they're going to celebrate that happening to those people, who else are they going to celebrate that happening to? I have to wonder. Here's one. Of all journalists killed in 2021, 11% were women. In 2020, this was 6%. On the International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists, let us say out loud, stop targeting women journalists. Well, it was 6%, then it went up to 11%. And, well, wait a second. What's the other? Like 11%. Well, what's the 89%? Oh, those must be intersex people, I guess, right? Just the hypocrisy, the lunacy. They can't see that. They can't see how insane this comment is. Reminds me of most of the people who died from COVID were men, but women most affected. The USA we grew up in. Well, there's a healthy, happy-looking Britney Spears. The USA we live in now. That kind of sums it up, doesn't it? Crazy bitch with knives. Yeah, something happened with it. I'm starting to think that protection, what they had, some sort of protection order or something they had, or a conservatorship that the dad had over Brittany. I'm starting to think that was probably a good idea because, well, just the whole filming herself dancing in her bikini with knives for some reason, you know. I mean, I don't know if that's something other people do normally. I don't do it. And if I was in a relationship with a woman and she was doing that, I would probably fake my own death and move to Mexico just to be safe. You can never be too careful when there's a woman in your house dancing in a bikini with knives and looking insane. Because, well, yeah, the imagination runs wild. I feel bad for Brittany. I think everybody kind of jumped the gun there on that whole Free Britney thing. I mean, everybody. Yeah, like us, like we were worried about it. I know we weren't, right? But there were, it was a thing on social media there. It was a cause that people picked up. Yeah, I think she looks like she needs help. Definitely somebody should take the knives away. Without question. I guess we'll move on. Matt Walsh says the pro-Palestine marches are just like BLM reincarnate. Literally the exact same people with the exact same objectives, anti-West and anti-white. Yes, it's all true. And they're, the Westerners that are marching for Palestine, they're all communists. Of course, like Antifa's, Black Bloc, whatever, they're all in there. They all support it. They're all Marxists. They're all, communists, basically revolutionaries, far left revolutionaries. It is the exact same thing. The cause is never the cause. The issue is never the issue. The issue is always revolution. That's just the best way to look at it, just as the reaction is always, just as the action is always your reaction. Let's move on. Here we go. Here's how restaurants can be more inclusive of plus-size folks, including sturdy chairs and training staff on how to deal with folks of different sizes. Training staff on how to deal with folks of different sizes. What the hell could that possibly mean? I guess we're going to have to find out. Now, this is a woman. I've actually done a couple of videos. She first complained, she went viral for complaining that planes weren't big enough for her. And this was a problem for the entire airline industry. And they're going to have to do something about it because she's really fat. And then I believe the same one, and also you can say fat. They reclaim that. So you're allowed to say fat now. That's actually now politically correct. I think they're offended by plus size now. I don't know. We'll see what she says on this video. She also, I believe it was the same one. She also was complaining that hotels needed larger hallways, not like, bigger tubs, right? Hallways. The hallways needed to be bigger because she was having trouble, apparently, getting through hallways. Now, I suggested that they just slather bacon grease on the walls and then just push through slide. I think that's easier. It's definitely cheaper than having to rebuild every fucking hotel in the world. You could have buffets in every room. You could have that. Refresh them, every 90 minutes, maybe. Let's see what she has to say.
If you've ever been uncomfortable in a restaurant because of your size, I know the struggle, and that's why I'm making today's video. Today's video is all about how restaurants can be more size inclusive and accessible for people of all sizes and abilities. With this video, I hope to educate some restaurant owners so that they can make their restaurants more size inclusive and accessible. Here are my 10 solutions for how restaurants can create a more inclusive environment. Solution number 1, comfortable seating. Restaurants should provide spacious and sturdy chairs without armrests so that people of all sizes can dine comfortably. Solution number 2, flexible table arrangements. Offer adjustable table configurations with ample space in between so people in larger bodies can navigate everything comfortably. Solution number 3, accessible restrooms. Ensure restrooms are spacious and can comfortably accommodate plus-size individuals and those with disabilities. Solution number 4, reservation flexibility. Allow guests to request seating preferences during the reservation process. This will allow people to choose seating that suits their needs. Solution number 5, provide key information on your website. Provide key information like table configurations, seat dimensions, chair weight capacities, and more on your website where it's easily...
She wants you to put chair weight capacities on the website. Solution number 1, take a fucking walk. Ridge Eagle says, there's no way she's that big. That's insane. That's what I thought too. But she was complaining. I believe this is the same woman. She was complaining about hallways not being big enough. That's real. So I don't know. I was a bit confused by that too. I mean, how could, maybe with her bags or something? I don't know. All I can tell you is that she wants everything in the world bigger and sturdier. Oh, you're gonna have to redo those stairs. They're not sturdy enough. Although, what am I saying? She wouldn't go upstairs. I guess elevators have to be more sturdy. I guess we'll watch the rest of this.
Accessible. Solution number 6, ensure that your tables are not secured to the ground. Make sure they can be moved to make room for individuals who might need more space. Solution number 7, offer more room in booth seating. Make sure that there's plenty of space to move around between the table and booth seat. This will ensure that people of various body sizes can sit there and be comfortable. Solution number 8, staff training. Train staff on what type of accommodations can help plus-size individuals have a better experience. Solution number 9, outdoor dining. If you've got an outdoor dining area, make sure you have some chairs without armrests. And opt for chairs that do not have metal grating. This is a small change that can create a more open and inclusive atmosphere. And last but not least, solution 10, showcase photos. Consider showcasing photos of your typical seating and table setups on your website. It helps people plan ahead and sets the stage for a comfortable and welcoming dining experience. And these are just some of the ways that restaurants can become more size-friendly and inclusive. Check out my blog at...
Jesus Christ, if you have to plan ahead, look at photos of the restaurant to make sure you can fucking fit into it. Here's something. Why don't you do something? Instead of the rest of the world having to change everything, you do something. Ridge Eagle says she should at least try to lose weight. You know, it seems like the obvious answer, doesn't it? It really does. She should work out. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yes, I know. I got a feeling, though, that that kind of advice is falling on deaf ears here. You know, apparently the real solution is to make everything in the world sturdier so that she doesn't break it when she sits on it or walks over it. It's a weird thing, huh? It's a weird thing. I mean, yes, this is one person who apparently has lots of followers on social media too. This is one person, but it is, you know, there is something happening culturally, or it has been happening for a number of years now, this kind of body positivity, fat positivity. You know, we hear about how gorgeous Lizzo is, right? They say it with a straight face. You know, healthy at any size. You know, more like diabetes at any size. It's this bizarre upside down woke world where everything is somebody else's fault, where the entire world is separated between oppressed and oppressors, right? And there's no shades of gray. Everything is a zero-sum game. There are no positive sum interactions between people, where, both get something, both profit from something. No, it's just oppressed and oppressor. This is that attitude. Those restaurants, the airplanes, the hotel hallways are oppressing her. She's oppressed. Didn't you know that? She's oppressed. I mean, what has she done wrong other than make herself too big to fucking fit into everything? I'm not sure that there's an enormous amount of self-accountability going on here. And the culture has not been encouraging that for a while. It's been encouraging self-delusion through things like healthy at any size and this is healthy. There are all those what was it? Was it Cosmopolitan or something? Some women's magazine had, big girls on the cover. Quite big. One, she was like, I think standing on one leg in a yoga pose. You could see her like sweating just from that. But it said, the headline was, "This is healthy." I'm not so sure about that. I don't think doctors think that's healthy. But what do they know? They think they can tell what sex you are when you're born just by looking at you. That's, no, I mean, nobody knows that except for the kindergarten teacher. Jason Jones says, my brain just broke trying to follow the chain of logic behind this one. Yeah. This is weird. What the fuck could this possibly mean? Reproductive justice means free Palestine. Now, I don't care what side of that you're on. Just what does that mean? What on earth could that possibly mean? Reproductive justice means free Palestine. What? You can't, I don't think you can't have an abortion in Gaza or the West Bank. I don't think. I think Gaza, definitely not. I mean, I took a look at the Hamas charter, and they're pretty explicit in that about a lot of stuff. There's a lot of Allahu Akbar going on in there. And a lot of, from the river to the sea kind of stuff. But they are prescriptions for pretty much everything. Like women's role is set out pretty clearly in the Hamas charter, or they call it the covenant. It's the founding document of that organization. And yeah, it makes it pretty clear what women's role is. It's to raise jihadis, to have kids, stay home, have kids, educate. By educate, they mean turn them into jihadis, right? So what they would consider reproductive justice doesn't exist like in Gaza. I don't understand it. Can somebody please explain this to me? Rich Ego says woke is 1 + 1 = 3. Yeah. I prefer the truth. Yeah. Yeah, it's completely incoherent. This shouldn't be surprising. The whole thing is incoherent. If you look at the gender stuff, apparently gender is a social construct. But a 5-year-old definitely born in the wrong body. That's incoherent. That doesn't make any sense, right? Not to mention just the obvious absurdity, infinite genders. And they're all real. Rich Eagle says, Trump had the best response to war. I want people to stop dying. Yeah, I remember that. It's true. But this reproductive justice means free Palestine. Is this just evidence that these people literally have given up on logic or reason or rationality? Like, how can that make sense? Unless the issue is never the issue, as James Lindsay says, right? The issue is just, communist revolution, the revolution. perpetuating leftism. I don't think that every single person out there actually sees himself as a communist. They're just useful idiots, right? They don't really know what they believe other than that if it feels progressive, if it feels left, that's what they're for. And that's the only thing that matters, right? I don't think most of them, I mean, the whole thing is incoherent, so they can't really have a concrete set of principles, right? But the vast majority of them, yeah, I mean, they're just kind of, they know which way the wind is blowing. I'll say that. Because this doesn't make any sense. Reproductive justice means free Palestine. I think this is making me dumber just looking at it. I mean, what do you guys think? Tell me what you think. Make this make sense to me. It's like the queers for Palestine thing, you know? It's like they will kill you there. I mean, there is I believe a minimum 10-year sentence if you're lucky in Gaza, if you're convicted of being gay, right? You'd think they'd have to know that. I don't know. It feels very much like people training their own executioners and being proud of it. Let's check this one out. What time is it now? Getting kind of late. I'm going for an hour and 23. We'll go a little longer. Do these people not have real problems? The sob stories of being misgendered is so cringe and privileged. Okay. Oh, God. You know, I almost hesitate to play this one. There's some of them you just look and it just feels tragic immediately. But all right, let's put ourselves through this.
Y'all, I'm tired. 7 a.m. at the physical therapy office, misgendered by someone who...
Wait a second. Misgendered? Okay. I'm not going to say anything else. Let's just watch the rest and see what happens.
I've told my pronouns too. And I said, just to let you know, my pronouns are they, them. And they went, oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Jesus.
And then I had to explain too many times to my physical therapist that I didn't want to do an exercise where I had to crunch my face into my boobs because that gives me gender dysphoria. Y'all, I'm tired.
So this is utter narcissism. This person does not believe they are anything other than what they actually are. This is extreme narcissism. Somebody who's found a way to get attention without having to have talent or do anything. Like, this is just free attention. And I guess we're giving it to her, they, them, her, whatever, right now. But I don't know. It's fucking... I guess the thing that's the most disturbing is the arrogance here, the smugness. Like, let's go back. Y'all, I'm tired. Like, fuck
Y'all,
off.
I'm tired. 7 a.m. at the physical therapy office, misgendered by someone who...
She's horribly upset and disturbed and distressed over something completely made up. Something she's just made up. This they, them thing. It's not real. They, them isn't real. It's just an abstract concept that's been made up and has given you an excuse to try and get attention without having to actually do anything or create anything positive or constructive or benefit the world in any way. Don't have to be a good person. In fact, it's probably better if you're not. You don't have to be humble. You don't have to be decent. You have to be narcissistic and self-absorbed. If you're not, I guess you don't get the attention. Do these people not have real problems? The sob stories of being misgendered is so cringe and privileged. I mean, I think this is the real, this is the real problem. This is going to prevent this person from having a good life. And just apparently nobody around this person will tell them that. I guess probably soon she'll be making TikToks about how chairs need to be sturdier. Probably get a huge amount. Let's see. Are you gay for Gaza? Not gay as in happy, queer as in free Palestine, as in thrown off a rooftop in Gaza. That's my guess. Well, that's what actually would happen. James Bond franchise producer Barbara Broccoli said executives haven't even begun modernizing the franchise. Great. Adding there's a big road ahead before the character is reinvented for the next chapter. You know what I would like? I would like it if they just went back to like the first book and just did it like set in that time. I would like if they just went back to the most original version you could possibly get. Because we know what happens when they reinvent things for the next chapter. It turns out to be shit. And there's that awful woman from Fleabag in it. So I'm kind of done with this whole reinventing thing. I'm kind of done with this whole deconstructing everything. I don't like it. What do you guys think? Do you guys want do you want James Bond reinvented for Barbara Broccoli? Because we know what reinvented means, right? It means lame, made more lame, more terrible. I mean, take something that everybody likes and then make it suck. For basically fringe weirdos on Twitter, who are the only people who like it and probably will never even consume the product in the first place. We know what it means to modernize James Bond. It means to make him woke. It means to make him awful, right? To please fringe weirdos. Like this modern audience that they keep talking about. We have to do it for modern audiences. Who is this modern audience? These films seem to keep failing. I think they might have overestimated this whole modern audience thing. What else do we got here? More. Oh, Jesus Christ. You know what? We need a palate cleanser. We're going to go to the puppies. Got to do it. I'm sorry.
Yes.
See, that was nice. Hamas didn't run in and stab them. No fat people sat on them. That was nice. That was a good palate cleanser right there. Sometimes I still get self-conscious. I'm feeling the urge to shrink myself and hide parts of my body. Here's the thing, though. She should shrink herself, right? She should shrink herself. Like, that would be good for her. Shrinking herself would be the best thing she could possibly do. What? Now, armpit hair? Now we're doing armpit hair? You know, I don't feel like it's really caught on yet. Is it like a competition to just, like, how can I be grosser? What can I do to be grosser? Yeah, okay. Let's see. Journalist Barry Weiss, a Jewish liberal who quit the New York Times over its anti-Semitism, writes, as a Democrat who is being left homeless, who is now definitely in the center but probably leaning increasingly right, I am left yet again with an appreciation. Oh, let's expand this. As a Democrat who has been left homeless, who is now definitely in the center but probably leaning increasingly right, I am left yet again with an appreciation, despite the messenger of the message of the Trump administration, because what those guys did was pretty incredible in hindsight. Yes, I think an increasing number of people are coming to this conclusion as they're watching the world fall apart. So much of the work that happened in the Trump administration turns out to have been right. And that's what is so frustrating for me. The work on the border wall, we didn't like the messenger, so we killed the message. Turned out it was right. Issuing long-term debt to refinance when rates were at zero, we didn't like the messenger, so we killed the message. A structural peace in the Middle East, we didn't like the messenger, so we killed the message. When are we going to stop shooting ourselves in the foot? And when are we going to actually see and take the time to look past who is saying things and actually listen to them word for word? If it's clear that the last 2 weeks have been a wake-up call, the next question is, why? You know, a lot of people were kind of mentioning this sort of thing, right? For a long time, you know? There was something called Trump derangement syndrome, and just anything that he said, people had to be against. No matter if it made sense. I mean, the weirdest thing for me was the wall. I mean, to be against that, to be against border security is, I mean, you're just transparently just a partisan lunatic at that point. I mean, walls actually do work. People have walls. Ridge Eagle says people are changing their minds, better late than never. Yeah, it's true. And I do think that when people do change their minds, you have to welcome them in. I think, and that's a major advantage that, and I'm not even going to say left and right anymore, because I don't think I even believe in that now. I think that there is just sane people and the far left. That's what I think. And then you have a lot of people that are, you know, traditional liberals or whatnot, and they just will vote what they've always done. And they don't realize they're voting for something that they, you know, most people aren't actually paying attention to politics, right? They're not paying attention to what bills are being passed. Most people in Canada haven't been paying attention to the bills that Trudeau's been passing. They just kind of have a feeling, and the people around them are a certain way, and that's just kind of what they go with, and they don't change their mind until shit starts to get genuinely bad, too bad for them to ignore it anymore, you know? But I think really, I mean, if there's two sides, it's just sane people and the far left. And more people are waking up to which side of that they're on, I think. So yeah, I agree with you there, Ridge Eagle. Oh, hold on. Let's see what else. I don't know how much further we're going to go. Going for about an hour and a half. We'll see if there's anything else here. Oh, I'm glad we kept going. I'm so glad that I can show you this. What the fuck is this? All right. So at first I thought they were all wearing G-strings, but then I think, no, they're just regular size swimsuits. It's just that the asses are so big that, it turns it into a G-string. What is happening there? What is happening in this video? Is this some sort of a competition? What is happening? Have you ever seen something like that? What is the meaning of this? Did they all travel there together? Or did they go separate? They all just kind of gravitated, no pun intended, together? What? Is it some sort of promotion? I don't understand. Somebody please tell me what is happening there. One more time. For the life of me, I can't understand what's happening. Is the first one who gets to the cabana gets a ham or something? I don't know. Let's keep going. Oh, yeah. This one. Let's listen to this. Let's talk about entitlement.
Clearly so annoyed at how expensive everything is. The last couple months, my spending has been a little bit out of control just because I moved, so my rent went up and I had to buy furniture and do all of that. And then this month, it's July, and I'm like, oh, I am getting back on track. I'm gonna have a low spend month, everything's gonna be good. And then I ran out of everything. I had to restock all of my skincare, which was $200, which honestly is fine because...
So you're broke, you're complaining about being broke, but you spent $200 on skincare. Is literally every person in the world retarded now? Bear Mouse says the dinner bell rang somewhere. That was from the, okay, so that's from the left one, from the last video that we watched. And, do you know what? Let's go one more time. May have been the dinner bell. That's a good call there. Anyway, so she's complaining about how broke she is. And then she's talking about all the things she's been buying. Let's continue.
My skin is looking fantastic. And then I ran out of Nespresso pods, so that's another $120.
$120 for Nespresso pods. Again, I ask the question, is everybody retarded?
And then I just ran out of laundry detergent, dish detergent, and toilet paper, so I have to go to Costco, which is easily going to be another $200. And then next month, all of my annual subscriptions renew. So my Costco membership, my Natural Cycles membership, all of that is going to be another $200. My sneakers are broken, so I need to go buy a new pair of Hoka's, which is $150. I'm good with my finances, but I feel like I am just...
I'm good with my finances. Good Lord. These are the people that are going to inherit the earth. Something went wrong somewhere along the line. And, personally, I don't think her skin looks that great. Another glass ceiling has been broken. I haven't actually watched this one. So, okay, I'm almost scared. We might need the puppies after this. But hold on.
I am actually one of 7 women in the world that can sing Old Man River in its original key. Old Man River. I am actually one of 7 women in the world.
one of 7 women in the world. Huh. That's very interesting. Let's see. Somebody's asking to show Sasquatch. I don't know what that means. Show me Sasquatch freedom. Freedom, as in FREEDUMB, reigns. Show me Sasquatch puke. You know, this is what we've been waiting for all night. Everybody stop right now. Everybody stop whatever you're doing right now. Why are we even live streaming? This person, show me Sasquatch. We should be scouring the internet right now to find comments in chat rooms from Show Me Sasquatch. Let me read this again. Freedom reigns. Puke. Oh. We should be saving this, preserving this for future generations so they can see this beauty. What do we even do? Why are we doing anything? All right, enough of that. I am actually one of 7 women in the world who could do that. Okay, if you say so. Now, this account here, I'm not sure what this is. I think it's a parody account. This Wei Wu. I'm not sure exactly. Like, I think it's a parody account, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just dumb. I can't figure it out. But I find it extremely amusing. She says, I see pattern. I watch many West Woman comedy storyteller. They all talk one thing. I'm slut. I'm super slut. I slut all time. I tell you story when I'm slut. I have vagina. Laugh or else you not respect women. This number 1, not comedy. This just a slut tell everyone she is slut. Oh, friend, do not watch West female comedy storyteller. Very pointless, very unfunny, very dishonor. My rocket first class seat all reserved for female comedy storyteller. Oh, I love it. Yeah, I mean, reading that now, this is obviously parody. And it's a very good parody. All right, let's see if there's anything else we want. Oh, the ADL. My God. The ADL has not been fit for purpose for, I don't know, 10 years or something, at least that. They say 1 week after Hamas's brutal terror attacks in Israel, guess who? White supremacists continue to rail against Israel and the Jewish community. Really? Really? Gathering in cities nationwide to promote their racist, anti-Semitic propaganda. I saw a lot of people out protesting. I saw a lot of people out on the streets, and from one look, I could tell a large majority of those people were not white supremacists. I mean, it's just a joke. It's pathetic. I mean, it's clearly now just this partisan political organization. It's just an arm of the Democratic Party at this point. It's truly bizarre. Is it time for Justin Trudeau to take a walk in the snow or go surfing? Polls are showing his time is up, so why won't he leave? Because he's a narcissist, because he's a sociopath, a psychopath, maybe even. That's why. He has no intention. I mean, everybody wants him to resign. Even his own party wants him to resign. He's not going to. His ego won't let him. He thinks he's the chosen one, right? He's part of that Trudeau dynasty. Ridge Eagle says the ADL are just horrible trolls at this point. Yeah, they are, actually. They're not what they claim to be. I think they've done terrible harm to what they claim is their own cause by just accusing just normal people of being bigots constantly if they are of the wrong political persuasion. And that's all it comes down to. That's all it comes down to. But Trudeau, is it time for Justin Trudeau to take a walk in the snow? Yeah, but he's not going to. He's too fucking arrogant. He's not going to give up. He will not. And to be honest, I hope he doesn't. I hope he takes down the Liberal Party with him. I hope he crashes it and burns it. Just destroys it. And if he stays in, he will. He doesn't know how to govern. Nobody in his cabinet knows how to govern, right? It's just politics. It's polling. That's all it is. They're just electioneering all the time. They're campaigning all the time. They clearly don't know how to run a country, and they clearly don't care to. It's just about power, raw power. Trudeau doesn't care what happens to Canada. I mean, this is the guy who told us we were the first post-national country and that Canada had no national identity. And has spent most of his time calling millions of Canadians bigots, phobes, whatever, and then claiming that the people that he's criticizing are the divisive ones. Now, this guy's got no soul, and he's got no conscience, and he's not going anywhere. He's also got no shame, right? So he's perfectly willing to destroy his own party in service of his own ego. That's what I believe. Oh, here we go. In the space from Jonathan K. In the space of maybe 5 years, Canada's NDP has gone from Workers of the World Unite to, if you come to my Hello Queer drag show, I'll tell you my cat's pronouns. We are 1 week away from our spooky fundraiser, and we are almost sold out. You don't want to miss Janice Irwin and I in costume scarier than the UCPs have, blah, blah, blah. Night of the Living Drag. This is the NDP again. This is all they've got, apparently. They've just run out of ideas. I mean, I guess for the 20, I mean, it's horrifying to say, but, 18, 20% of the country that actually supports them, this is good enough. This is what they want to see. They see this and they think, oh, good. Yeah, this is good. This is what I want. This is the Canada that I see. Economics, whatever. I'm communist. Hopefully they'll do commie things. Then really, this is what I'm here for. Night of the Living Drag. I mean, the drag person doesn't appear to even be having a very good time there. It's not even like a scary face. It's just like it's a Silence of the Lambs kind of face, really, isn't it? It's just, I'm unhappy all the time. Anyway, let's see what the puppies are up to. I feel like I do need a palate cleanser after that. Here we go. Oh. See, I love the way terrorists don't attack them in these videos. Or nobody tries to give them puberty blockers. You know what? I think we've come full circle back to where we were last week. I think that's it. I think we're done. Well, we've been going for almost 2 hours now, so. All right. Well, hey, thanks for stopping in, everyone. And next week, I cannot do the Friday night, late night live stream. I can't. I didn't know if I was going to even be able to do it tonight, but I managed to make it work. But next Friday is a no-go, unfortunately. I will still be putting out my regular videos, like my 4 to 8 minute long videos. And hopefully I'll be putting out about